Hey everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review, our second review of the week. This time we are heading to Campo's Hat, AEW. They had their 5th annual Double or Nothing pay-per-view because they mentioned it about 60 different times on this show. It was another AEW pay-per-view. So with me once again, we have Campo.Reviews, Man reviews movies, TV shows, everything else. Putty Man, who once in a while reviews some wrestling, depending on how he feels and if he's watched it.
WWE all the time. AEW, that we're gonna get into that once we get into some of these matches, I guarantee you.
So for their stuff, make sure you go click the links in the description box below. So to find all their stuff, Campo has some video stuff, Putty has some video stuff too. We do some stuff together. We collaborate.
In a video.
Yeah, I dabble every now and then.
Dabble here and there.
A dabble, do you?
Before we get into the review, make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Last week's review, we only had the one, but it was one of my best reviews on tap. It was, you guys had 100 views on my Marigold review. So let's keep that momentum going. So we'll get right into Double or Nothing. Putty, you said you did not watch the pre-show.
I did not know. I did not watch the kickoff show.
So the first pre-show match, Deonna Purrazzo versus Thunder Rosa.
I didn't watch it.
Okay. This was, I would say, the second best women's match on the card.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for Deonna Purrazzo because now she's stuck in that vortex of nothingness, like Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa had her moment and burned her bridges, I think. So she's...
Yeah, but why are you putting Deonna Purrazzo? You made this big deal about signing the Virtuosa. Did you sign her because you're going to do something with her, or did you sign her because you didn't want to?
She's going to segue to a program with Sasha Banks, but it's going to be after the Chris Statlander stuff ends.
Okay. So Deonna Purrazzo does win, at least. Then we had the Acclaimed against the Cages of Agony, Brian Cage, Toa Leona, and Bishop Khan. This was fine too. I'm just a little tired of the Acclaim's gimmick.
Okay, so which one? Okay, remember now
this is still a pre-show. You haven't seen this one.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah, and that's about it. The Acclaimed win, but like
they had an hour and a half pre-show with only 2 matches.
2 matches. Usually they do 4.
At least 3.
Yeah. It was a lot of nothing on the pre-show match. I did not like the 0 hour because they expanded it from when they expanded it from 1 hour to an hour and a half, and they did 4 matches. I was fine with that. But now go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm glad I didn't see the pre-show because I probably would not have lasted. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I would not have lasted.
So with that, we'll go into our opening match of the main card. It is Roderick Strong defending the AEW International Championship against Will Ospreay.
I just want to say something. I started watching this pay-per-view at like 9:30 on Sunday night.
Okay.
And it started at what, 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So okay. I know the genuine love for Will Ospreay. I will say this. Really good wrestler. I don't like I don't know how long he's had that long hair because I know he had his hair shorter and I liked it with the shorter hair. Didn't he have shorter hair before?
I don't know. I just literally don't care what you're talking about.
Well, no, but my
point
Will
Ospreay is only the best wrestler in the world right now.
Listen, what I'm saying.
His hair is long.
Will Ospreay, but the thing is like I don't know who the other wrestler is. I feel like he really did good on making Will Ospreay look really good in this match, and I don't know if that's based on both of their skills. Or
both of them are really good wrestlers. Roderick Strong is a truly underappreciated wrestler.
He was very, very, very popular in WWE.
Yeah, with the Diamond Mine and Stokely Hathaway. Funny enough,
he just never got pushed because Vince McMahon. He was too small for Vince McMahon.
Yeah, same thing with Adam Cole. All those guys.
Oh, we'll get into that later because I got some stuff to talk about that now. So.
I thought this match was really good. It's not Will Ospreay's best match. It's not Roderick Strong's best match.
But it was still a really good way to open the show.
I don't know. I don't have a word here. I take offense to the outcome of this match. I think it was too soon. I think they should have had some kind of shenanigans and dragged it out for one more pay-per-view or something. Especially with what happens on Dynamite.
Yeah.
It's like immediately this guy's just going to quadruple belt. Like, let's calm down. Will Ospreay goes over.
Yeah. And he's your new champion.
It's a 4-star match for sure, but it's like we got to just calm. Let's
Yeah.
take a breath.
But I mean, I think it was in his contract that Osprey had to probably have a belt within his first.
And I'm okay with him winning this belt right now.
Yeah.
But I still think it should have went one more
Pay-per-view.
and drag out the story.
They should have dragged this out till All In London.
Yeah.
Because the pop he would have had there would have been huge
But
if you won.
Especially with the I
Because
don't know.
that's the next one, isn't it? There's nothing until then.
No, Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door. Okay.
The
Which ain't that forbidden anymore.
Yeah, well, it's soon. It's in like 3 weeks or 4
Yeah,
weeks.
but it's like half the guys who were using is
Listen, Shota's gonna be there, so I'm happy.
yeah.
This belt was a prestigious belt. It was all about holding it for a long time. We did have the little hiccup with Moxley, which I don't think I ever wanted Moxley to hold this, but I was very happy with Rey Fenix, and then whatever happened, that's fine.
Yeah.
But now you gave it back to Orange Cassidy. You let him go on another long run with it. Then you gave it to Roderick Strong, and you hot potatoed it already.
Yeah. But
let's slow it down.
Let's chill, guys. Let's chill. But Will Ospreay does win. I like the fact that this belt is perfect for him. He's that mid card. But like you said, what happens on Dynamite, we'll talk after at the end of the match. We'll go on to our next match. They are no longer using Bullet Club again. They are using the Bang Bang Gang again against a reunited Death Triangle.
Okay, so I don't know who Bang Bang Gang was at first until you now just said that, actually, to be honest with you. I didn't even know. Okay, so this is where I got to stop. The last time I watched AEW with you guys and done these reviews is back when we had the conversation about the Thunder Rosa and a storm thing, Thunderstorm. Like I loved that idea and it ended up happening.
Didn't you do the Revolution review with us? Things last match?
No, I didn't.
No. Okay.
No. So this will give you an idea of how long ago it was. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember Death Triangle being separated when I left. I thought they were still together.
They are.
So
they never broke up. Two members were injured. Phoenix and Pac were all injured.
And then when Phoenix came back, Penta got injured, and then Phoenix got injured again, and then Pac came back on his own.
When Penta, and then Pac came back for a little bit
because they made a big deal about that. And see, of course, you guys know my my fandom for Penta. I love him as a wrestler and everything. I was excited when I saw this, when I heard it, and I go, "Oh my God, Penta!" Yeah, I got a wrestler I love and saw, and I really did enjoy this match. Like Penta and his younger brother, really worked good together. Like it's a visually stunning.
Death Triangle is probably the best trios team you have.
Oh, it is amazing. Like
I mean, Bang Bang Gang's pretty up there. Which, by the way, back to what you were saying, it's getting confusing because they keep calling them Bullet Club on weekly TV, and then we get to the pay-per-views and they don't call them Bullet Club anymore.
Yeah.
Which, even though I'm not really that familiar with Bullet Club, but I know the name Bullet Club. So they would have said coming up Bullet Club, I'm like, oh, I know who
literally, you've watched a lot of Jay White matches. You just literally don't remember.
Yeah.
This match was excellent.
Yeah.
This
Bang
is
Bang Gang
your
retains.
two best trios that you have right now. Because I don't know, the House of Black hasn't been the same for a while.
Yeah, I think no, we saw him later, but you're right.
But it was a really good match, and we get some shenanigans, but listen, Bullet Club has the best theme song in all of wrestling right now, and they literally talk about that, about how they have the best song, and I was like, well, you're not wrong.
And we get a great surprise at the end, the return of Rock Hard Juice Robinson.
Wait, hold on. Let's go back one whole match.
Okay.
And let's talk about what happened, because we didn't even talk about what happened at the end of the match.
Which one? Osprey?
Osprey?
Yeah.
Okay. Remind them.
Adam Cole comes out.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we didn't get, that's the part we got skipped over. Can we just skip over that? Okay. So I want to jump into that too. Okay. So we had talked about before, and I love that AEW does this. They always call out anything with WWE and bring in. So for those that don't know, I guess I'll go ahead and say it. I didn't know this whole time that MJF has been gone and he just returned. Okay, they made a big opening with it with his old outfit, which, by the way, I will say when he came out, MJF looks like he's been kind of rolling in some dirt. Like I don't know, his look looks really different.
It's that
now
fake tan.
Yeah, it looks.
And
really
the
bad
fact that he looks like a Wish.com Triple H.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
well, he came out wearing the outfit that Triple H wears when he made his comeback from his injury.
And there's a
And
meme going around that it's like MJF stole two Triple H gimmicks within the same night
But
because his hair looked like when he was making fun of The
but the
Rock.
thing I don't get is if you're gonna come
I'll put
out
a
dressed
picture of
as
that up.
Triple H, why did you call out WWE?
yeah, see, the thing is, I like that. I like they did that, but at the
That's
same
a
time,
Tony Khan thing.
yeah. Well, I mean, again,
Apparently, it was just off the cuff, and none of it was scripted.
here's hoping because
I don't think it was scripted, but I think Tony Khan said make sure you include something of this in your promo.
Well, they don't need a New Japan or a Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
and I liked that. That was a great mention. That's why
Yeah,
I
because they
like.
poach all of New Japan's talent.
Oh, and by the way, MJF comes out, they hug him and Adam Cole, then
Yeah.
he takes Adam Cole to Dick Kick City and gives him a brain buster.
Yeah. So
And
that's
then
your first
cuts a
feud.
really long fucking promo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Maybe too long.
kept
And I don't
screaming
care.
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't care. And then we got the Death Triangle match. That was excellent.
Yeah.
Juice came back. That was fucking excellent. The crowd really popped for Juice Robinson.
Yes, they did. I was so happy to see that. So with that, speaking of Juice Robinson, the next match, his wife, Toni Storm, defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Serena Deeb.
As
Now,
out of place as she is on this pay-per-view, when you look at the card of all star wrestlers, and then Serena Deeb is there for some reason. But she worked well with Tony.
Yeah,
and
she did.
Well, some of the spots are unbelievable because Tony's like double the size of her, like actually.
We need Serena to eat a sandwich still.
It's her wrestling skill exists enough that
she is a backstage trainer, to be fair, Serena
she's a
Deeb.
good wrestler. It's
Yeah.
the size that doesn't make sense to me.
My issue here is we need to pad Toni Storm's run. Insert whoever's the champion. We need to pad Sheeta's run. We need to pad Thunder Rosa's run. Who do we got? Throw out Serena Deeb.
Okay,
so
there's so many other choices.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in here because again, same situation, thunderstorm situation. I was there with the thunderstorm creation and everything. Then I just dropped off the map. This whole timeless Tony Storm thing. Now you guys know me. I love my gimmicks. I love my show thing. I really like this. Now, I don't know how
Everybody
long
loves
she's
the
been doing-
gimmick. The gimmick
This is
great.
the most popular gimmick in wrestling
It
right
is
now.
so cool. Like, I'll be honest with you, this is the reason why I maybe starting to watch AEW, and it's just because of Tony Storm, because I love that gimmick. I love the black and white thing. She pulls it off so nicely, like she knows what she's going for, and she's like
Luther coming out as the butler. I love that. Like, it's
so
great.
good, but it's so good. And I was like, oh my God, why have I missed out on this and everything? But why is it she's the one that I should have been excited to come back and see? Because I was thinking about it was Penta and all these other wrestlers. And then I saw her come out and I go, what is this? And then I loved her gimmick. I loved the wrestling she did there. It was very beautiful. Like every part, like during this whole night, it was like, and I'm going to bring this up a lot later. It was a very long pay-per-view, but I know AEW tends to be very long.
Yeah.
That monotonous I felt like I was having in between. She kept the momentum going for me because the match was fun.
This was the best, like, spoilers ahead, but this was the best women's match on the card.
I agree.
Well, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I think it was actually a good match. I think, in fairness to Serena Deeb and how much I hooped all over her being on this pay-per-view originally, it was actually a strong match. And they worked well together.
Yeah, they did. But Toni Storm retains. And
also, shout out to Mariah May's outfit.
Shout out to
where's the champagne?
Yeah, where's the champagne? Shout out to Shirakawa. Let's move on. Next match, grudge match, Orange Cassidy against Trent Beretta.
You're not gonna like me on this one, but actually, I like Orange Cassidy. I didn't like this match.
I think, okay, so knowing that you're a storyline guy,
this should have been a
storyline that you would have really liked.
Even though this should have been a pre-show match card.
It should have, but I think it was actually a solid match. It wasn't like a top tier match, but I think when you add it with
serviceable, it was a great filler in between.
Like they've been best friends since the start of AEW. They're when Chuck and Beretta were together, they were like the most underrated tag team in all of wrestling.
Chucky T, get well soon. I hope your career does resume.
And Kevin, you might
Chucky
be right.
T's career may be over.
He beat up his own best friend, and they kayfabe wrote him off for his forever. He
Yeah.
has an ankle injury where he'll never be able to wrestle again.
And a back.
And they had a match where they made it seem like Trent Beretta is the reason that those things happen.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. You're probably right, Campo. I was following the story because here's the thing. Orange Cassidy is as a fun wrestler. He's one of those wrestlers that it's kind of like a Darby Allin in that whole. They're very small. They don't have that too much muscles to show, so it's hard believable. But Darby Allin, what makes him great is he's very he takes a lot of risk. Orange Cassidy, in my eyes, is more of a gimmick strength kind of situation, even though he does have the moves and everything.
I
So
think he's
when
a way better wrestler than Darby Allin.
no,
Mhm.
no.
In
As
terms
far
of
as
in-ring.
wrestling, yeah, as written work, yeah, I agree. The problem is as far as the in-ring work, it
Remember,
looks.
Putty likes the characters, not the.
No. Listen, what I'm
Darby
saying.
Allin sucks.
Orange Cassidy, okay, is a good wrestler. The thing is when he's doing certain moves, because we know when we watch two wrestlers go together, the one that's taking the bump will also help in being held up or do things like that. Orange Cassidy's a small person, so for him to be able to do that stuff, he does need the help of those other wrestlers to pull some of that stuff off. You know what I mean? So that's where it's kind of hard when I see him doing something so phenomenal, and I'm like, he's a small guy. I mean, when you look at him and let's compare
Don't
him to.
underestimate the strength of Orange Cassidy, though. He is
Oh no, I
quite
get it.
powerful.
I get it, but like for example, let's use another small wrestler from the WWE as an example.
I'm not talking about Rey Mysterio.
That's exactly what I'm referring to.
Rey Mysterio is also 4'11". Orange
No, I know
Cassidy's
that.
6 feet tall.
Oh well, true. But see, the thing is, Rey Mysterio has
I didn't
Rey
even know
Mysterio has
that.
more. Rey Mysterio has more muscle to him than Orange Cassidy does, or unless I'm not seeing it because
Right,
of the
but
outfit he's
Trent
wearing.
No,
I-
Orange
I-
Cassidy and during the Will Ospreay match, like when they Forbidden Door, he was pretty jacked.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
and
that's
the
about
fact
him.
that these two are very evenly matched. They're about the same height, same weight.
Right, and I agree. But see, the thing is, my point.
Anyways,
thing is,
forget about that for a second. We
Yeah.
hear what you're saying. I don't want you to explain it again. I understand. I think for me the match was good.
It was serviceable. It was fine.
It was like a 3.5er.
Yeah.
I think with the storyline,
It was a
worked.
good buffer match.
We wanted
fine.
this. Like I was excited for this match coming into this. The storyline
This was a match that didn't need a belt to it.
Yeah.
And Trent lost too. Orange wins, right? So it's like, where does Trent will be on a warpath now to get that win back against Orange.
And he at the end of this match, is this where he joins
The
Don
Callis family?
Callis? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And even Chris Statlander turns on Orange
We'll
Cassidy.
get to that. Yeah. So with that, we'll go into our next match. Chris Jericho defending the FTW Championship against Hook and Katsuyori Shibata.
okay, I want to take the again. Been gone for a long time. I have music on my playlist that I dance to, or when I'm working out that I listen to. Judas is my thing. What happened? Where did this tree of knowledge thing happen with
I'm the learning tree.
The learning tree. That's it. The learning tree. What? This is such a stupid gimmick in my
Because
eyes.
it's
Maybe I'm just missing.
But listen to me.
It's a teachable moment.
Chris Jericho was tanking.
Yeah.
Tanking. They didn't know where to go with him. His character was getting shit. The
mid-card vortex of
all
nothingness.
the fucking storylines that he was in were he was like ruining people's careers for like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
and then made this character and immediately became like the most popular person again.
Really? Because maybe I
it's
had
so
to see...
dumb.
Yeah.
People love that it's dumb.
Maybe it's probably because I didn't see the.
It's
other
almost
stuff
like the
prior to
wizard
that.
thing.
Yeah,
because you have to understand, I didn't get the buildup of hatred into it. I got from the Judas stuff last year, where he was beating people up in the stadiums and all that stuff, or way more than last year, because it's been a while since we've done an AEW.
Yeah, because that's when he was a baby face. He's a heel again.
But no, he was a heel. Wasn't he heel back
He
then?
was
When
a
he had
heel the last
group?
time Putty watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last time I saw he was a heel, so I had no idea
watched
he went
BCC versus
Oh
Jericho.
Yeah,
the Appreciation Society.
So going from that to this and not seeing what happens in between, this is the thing I want to explain about things. And WWE does this too, so I'm not blaming AEW in general. I just pay attention more to WWE than I do AEW, okay? And that's the problem, is if you haven't watched wrestling in a long time and you know a character and then you see them come in with that, it's very hard, because later on we're going to have a match with a old school character that was also from WWE, but it turned out way better when it brings back something. So
I have a difference of opinion on that, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. So my point is Chris Jericho's a good wrestler. He's getting old and everything. You can definitely way more now see it than ever before. I mean, you can see it a couple of years ago.
Like the meme I sent you, Campo. Brian with Brian from Family Guy with no fur and Chris
Exactly.
Jericho.
That's your guy.
But yeah, but the thing is like outside of him, like Hook and them, they were great. Like Chris Jericho is a great wrestler. He's a great entertainer. I guess if you're jumping into this storyline, it's very confusing and weird.
Yeah,
If you
I
haven't
think
jumped into it, it's
this
probably
is
entertaining.
the emergence of Hook. This is going to solidify Hook as a top person. I think right now Hook has a higher ceiling, even though he was in the main event. Hook has a higher ceiling than Darby Allin.
Way higher.
Yeah.
And because he has a raw skill, Darby Allin is not
A
a
stuntman.
wrestler.
He's
He's a
Darby.
stuntman.
He's a
Yeah.
glorified stuntman.
He that's what he is, right? He's not like here to be like a significantly good wrestler where Hook shows the base of like doing suplexes like some of the hardest stuff in wrestling, and he has
Yeah.
some of the most craziest ones locked down, right?
Yeah. It's
But he
like,
has a long way to
can
go.
we have Jimmy Havoc? We have Jimmy Havoc at home, and it's Darby.
Yeah, exactly. It's but I think the plunder spots were fun. I
Mhm.
like the dice thing. It made me cringe a lot because they did it too early, and then for the rest of the match, the dice were just
Or in the
there the whole
Well, I
time.
And
will.
see, and I'll talk about this at the end of the show, but I'm tired of too many gimmick matches on one show.
Yeah, and AEW is so guilty of that
Yeah,
because we got
it's
3 of them.
too more because the next match too, you get blood,
Yeah,
and like there's so much.
Well,
There's always blood. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
well, here's my thing. Here's my thing. The whole thing with blood is I like having the gore because you don't see it over there in WWE. But I also want to bring up, which we're definitely going to get into that a little bit later.
But when you see it all the time, it loses its effect.
no,
No, I agree.
I think they did good here because Moxley doesn't even bleed.
No.
But see, here's my situation in this is that seeing those dice and everything, I heard there's like stuff prior because they showed like stuff in the past from the matches and everything. So I'm guessing in the past he's used other stuff outside the dice and everything.
Yeah, Jericho will not use tax anymore.
I get it. But I will say this though, I've stepped on dice on the floor before. Those
yeah.
suckers hurt.
I
So
feel
I
like
can
that's
imagine
worse
that.
than tax landing on those dice.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I
Legos.
feel like well, yeah,
But
Legos
the thing
would be
is,
worse than.
the pain is only momentarily. The tax, they're stuck in you.
Yeah.
So the pain
Well,
is constant.
Well, that's my whole point. Because again, we're going to come back to that again later. Because tax will come into play later, guys. By the way, which is weird the way it was used because it was used one time and then it's just thrown away. And I'm like, why not keep doing that then? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm
my
like
point,
I said, we'll talk about that after. But yeah, Chris Jericho does retain though, but he makes Hook look really good.
I think Shibata looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't know much about Shibata, but I feel like he was forgettable between the.
Shibata's probably one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers of all time.
Yeah,
But
he's
see,
up there.
yeah.
But
I
he took a
didn't get
few
highlight here.
nar spots in the beginning that I was like, I was surprised that he even like agreed to do. And then when he did the off the top rope thing with Hook and they both missed the table.
That was
Mhm.
yeah.
Because like Hook landed on like awkwardly on the floor, but then Shibata landed like on his neck.
Which he has a history of neck problems.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And Chris Jericho took all of the force without the table breaking.
Yes.
So all 3 of them got hurt on that one play,
Yeah.
I think.
But like I said, Chris Jericho retains. So with that, we'll go into our next match. We are going into Jon Moxley defending. Well, he's not defending. He's facing Konosuke Takeshita. And if Takeshita were to win, he would challenge Moxley for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
I'm a wizard.
I'm a wizard. I'm sorry, but I didn't like this match.
I actually really like this match.
Okay, let me get this
like...
let me get this. Let me rephrase it. 1, I didn't like the outcome, and 2, it's that same old Moxley type of booking again.
That's what I didn't like because
where he gets beat up for half the match, more than half the match. I would say 80% of the match.
For New Japan, I don't see why you wouldn't let Takeshita win and then have him come over and wrestle Moxley on your show. And then you'll pull in AEW fans and some DDT fans because Takeshita's there. But you chose not to do it, and you booked it in a Moxley way, which made it worse. If there wasn't Moxley booked, if Moxley like was started making a comeback and then won the match, it would have been different. But because he literally won with a 2-move out of nowhere, but like finale.
That's old school Mox. That's early AEW Mox booking, and I'm not a fan of that. Especially since we've seen him have such great matches in New Japan, and like the last few pay-per-views. Mox has been phenomenal. And this match was not.
It was a good. I like this match. Let
Yeah.
me say, I
And
like
the
this match.
in-ring
It
work was
wasn't
good.
very. It wasn't great. It was
And
fine.
I honestly think they should have had Takeshita win this match. Mox wins.
Yeah, but and now going forward, which we'll talk about later. But if Takeshita doesn't win the tournament that he's part of, like I don't know what
Yeah.
you do.
Because they already have Mox set up against Evil
Yeah.
at Dominion next
Oh
week.
my god.
I hope Evil doesn't win. I never
Like
thought
Evil General or Evil the wrestler?
Evil the wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah. So Moxley retains. So we'll talk about what happened with Takeshita. Takeshita on Dynamite is the first entrance. Well, we'll talk about it after, because the next match has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Adam Copeland defending the TNT Championship against Malachi Black in a steel cage, barbed wire all around the ring. Again,
Okay.
another gimmick match, and I'm tired of gimmick matches.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this right now. This is my first time actually seeing. Screw it. I'm saying it. I'm saying it the way I want to say it. This is the first time I'm actually seeing Edge in AEW. Okay, sue me for using that name, but I'm sorry. That's how I'm always gonna know him. I know I'm Copeland. I'm just gonna put it out there already.
Yeah.
And they call him the Radar Superstar. They bring out his same entrance music. Why can't he use Edge? Because we're gonna get into that later in the match.
Because they don't own the name Edge.
But that's also we're gonna get to it later. That's what I was confused about. But I guess that now answers my question. Because here's my thing. I was excited to finally get to see him in this and everything. And the blood and all the sensation, I'm like, because remember with MJF, we got some cussing earlier. So I'm like, okay, yes, we're getting into the attitude era. Yes. Then when I got to this, I was like, now I feel like you're just pushing the attitude era to me. Like you're trying to force it upon me. And it's like, it
The
doesn't.
attitude era, a lot of people, and you know, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. The attitude era, people still look at it through rose-colored glasses. It was not very good.
Well, no,
a lot
I
of
get
good things happened, but it was not very good. You had people like The Godfather and like D'Lo Brown and Al Snow.
D'Lo Brown was good. Fuck off.
And Al Snow was amazing. I loved Al Snow.
The character was good, but he'd never be world champion. You know what I mean?
Leaf Cassidy was better than
yeah.
than
Well, no,
Al
but
Snow.
see, then going back to this match with Edge and Malachi Black, it was one I was excited to see anyway because I feel like they're both, especially when it came out with the Brood thing. I was like, I kind of my head also was like, oh, are we gonna get? Which is it okay if I just go?
Yeah,
it
happened.
Yeah.
We got Gangrel.
Okay. So Gangrel comes in after a whole. So I first and foremost, Malachi Black going to stab him. I'm like, dude, they're actually trying to show murder in this. Like they're not just doing.
They almost murdered a guy in the final match too.
Oh, I know. We're gonna get into that too. So
like AEW just committing murders out here.
Yeah, I know. Right?
I'm not
so
monetized, so I can say that.
But he goes to stab it, and it also creates the hole for Gangrel to come through, which I'm glad that's a perfect setup. Like that right there is good planning in order to get somebody into it because then they get knocked out of Edge gets knocked out of the ring.
Yeah.
All of Malachi Black's guys come in. Then all of a sudden Edge gets thrown back in there. And I like the whole switch too they did with Malachi Black. But again, you're right. It's a gimmicky thing that they're doing. My thing was the match itself was very boring. In my eyes, it was not fun.
It was super slow paced.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of big plunder spots for a plunder match.
And Adam Copeland broke his leg early on in the match.
But a big reason was Malachi Black is injured.
They both are now.
Well, he was injured before the match,
yeah.
so they that's why the pace of the match is so slow.
And see, another thing is like the barbed wire situation. I know you can make fake barbed wire. I just didn't feel real with all this stuff and everything. The setups and everything is so bad. Like honestly, it's really bad when Gangrel comes off from the floor, and that's the most exciting thing in the match.
Well, that was the most exciting thing in the match.
But then again, Grant, how old is Gangrel now? Like 604?
I mean, he still has the look, though. I mean, yeah, he's old as hell, but he still has that look with the teeth and everything. Like, at least he pulled it off. It was nice to see those two together.
Those teeth are actually real. They're implanted.
Oh, it's implanted. See, I never knew they were implanted.
Hey, anyways,
he's living the gimmick.
I don't even care. This was exactly what I wanted. And it's going to eventually lead to a storyline where Christian is going to be they're going to make the Brood again.
Yeah.
It's going to be Gangrel with Edge and Christian as the Brood.
See, and I'm excited for that, but also at the same time, which we're also going to be getting into soon, is like Edge. I've always thought was the better like character as far as Edge and Christian goes.
Yeah, but Christian's work as a heel is second to none.
But Christian, I feel like, is always maybe in some ways a better wrestler than Edge in some ways. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
I'm gonna argue that in every single possible way except for popularity, Christian is better than Edge.
Yeah.
Uh, um, so again, like I said, I'm hoping you're right that they are moving all that over. The Brood is going to be part of this and everything, which is at the same time made me a little confused because this is going back to the thing. He doesn't know that I own the name Edge, but you're telling me that he owns the name Gangrel then?
Yeah,
Like, how
Gangrel
does
owns
that
the
work?
name
Is
Gangrel.
that just
He put it before he joined WWE, he was Gangrel and he trademarked that name.
okay? Okay, so is that the reason why Edge is able to still use the Rated R Superstar?
No,
They
All
never
that?
Edge,
Like,
trade.
Edge is the one who owned the copyright to Rated R Superstar. WWE
okay,
never
Yeah,
owned
and
that.
okay,
and the his theme song is no,
His
I don't want to.
license.
It's a licensed song, so it's by a band called Alter Bridge.
okay, that makes sense. Well, I mean, you know how sometimes WWE be like, no, we use that song for your character, you can't use it. Like, you could
Well,
never
it's
do that
like
with
how
Chris Jericho
Cody's
and
able to
Judas.
use the same song in WWE that he used in AEW. It's a
Makes
licensed
sense.
song. Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Makes
As
sense.
long as
Okay.
you pay for the song, you can
Yeah,
use
and
it.
It's just,
they like Campo mentioned in a review when he first appeared, they did the little switch up. In WWE it was you think you know me, and
mhm.
now in AEW they don't say you think you know me, they say you think you know him.
Oh, okay. See, that's the thing. I didn't really notice that. I wasn't paying attention. I just was familiar with the music. And
Yeah,
again, like I said, not being with AEW for a long time, I was familiar with Christian. I was familiar with um um um
Adam Copeland.
On this day.
well,
I
no,
see
before
clearly
no, I was familiar with Copeland, but
everything
I'm
has
saying I was
come
familiar
to
with Christian.
life.
I can't remember who else I was going to say that's there. That's Chris Jericho. Both of them I was familiar with in AEW as a staple now. Edge, it was or Adam Copeland. You know, he came in right after I just stopped watching AEW altogether. So when I first heard it, I go, this feels like a gimmick. I don't know how his status here now is, as like how good of a wrestler, how much of his character work has been as far as AEW. Like if people are actually cheering
It's
for him and
actually
love
been
it.
pretty good. He had
Okay.
his opening feud has been with Christian. So like they already started
Oh, see, I
off.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so I had no idea about that. So my point is like again, same thing. I like doing these reviews this way that where I haven't seen something in a long time
That's how he
because
won the belt. He won it off of Christian.
okay. But that's my whole point. That's why I'm bringing this up right now. It's weird because me jumping in, just like the whole situation with with a storm, is that I come in seeing them so drastically different, but for some reason, Edge, I feel like he can't do anything else but be that character.
Edge
Like
is the same. Edge is a one note character. He is.
that's my point. Even Christian, I feel like
So that
evolved a little
gang,
bit.
here's a little bit of thing for you. That Gangrel spot was originally planned for WrestleMania last year against Finn Balor.
Ah,
No,
okay.
it
See, I
was
had no idea about that.
presented by Edge,
Yes,
and Vince
but
McMahon said no.
said no.
Wow. That wasn't
That's why he
lost
came out
opportunity.
with like that Brood style entrance with Slayer playing in the background, raining
Mhm.
blood. So
Gotcha.
that was proposed by Edge, and Vince said no way.
And he said, "Well, I'll just do it somewhere else." Then I guess you know what I mean.
And
Like,
I think
pretty much.
that's why. That's another reason. Like it's I don't know. I got my own thoughts. We'll talk about it at the end of the show, though. But
Okay.
Edge does retain. Adam Copeland retains, even though he has a broken leg and he can't stand on it.
Why did he do that though? We need to talk about that. Why did he choose to jump Macho Man Randy Savage style straight down instead of laying out?
Also, I hate this spot. You're at the top of the cage. Escape.
It was an escape thing.
It was only a pinfall.
Yeah, it was
I
only
thought I said
simple.
the same
That's
thing.
why.
Don't worry,
Okay.
That's
we're
why
in
they.
the same
Yeah,
boat. I said the exact same thing.
because see, that's
Like
what.
I hate that spot. That's what I call the Jeff Hardy spot, the Rob Van Dam spot. You get to the
Yeah.
top of the cage, just win the bloody match.
But I
Well,
don't
see-
understand why he didn't lay out. Why the hell did he jump with his legs straight down? What were you thinking?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it was very confusing because I thought it was the same situation. So when I saw him get kicked out from the gate, I was like, wouldn't that make him win? And that's when I realized, oh, this has got to be a
Yeah.
pinfall because there's no way they would have counted that because he would have automatically won there when he
Yeah.
got kicked out to the door. You know what I mean?
And
Because how many times do we?
should have Malachi Black won, Edge would have had to join the House of Black. And I think that's what Campo and you guys are thinking. We are getting a House of Black versus the Brood
Brood, yeah, yep. And
eventually.
Christian, yeah, makes sense.
And they're probably going to give the Brood the trios belt for a bit too.
I'll take them as the tag team champions for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take
Either
that
way,
too. But Adam
nice.
Copeland does retain, and then he relinquishes the belt on Dynamite because he has a broken leg. They are holding a tournament, and Takeshita is the first name in the tournament.
Well,
He
all I'll
needs to
say
win
is
this tournament.
just to complete this on here, I was excited to finally see his first match. It was unfortunately let down. I was hoping maybe have a little bit different character work, but then when I saw Gangrel, I was like, oh, well, I don't mind having this. So it's a weird thing I'm in when it comes to this character, where I'm like, I'm excited because of Brood, but not because of Adam Copeland. It's more because of the whole setup in general. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So yeah.
makes sense. So with that, we'll go into our next match. We got Willow Nightingale defending the AEW TBS Championship against Monet.
I like Willow Nightingale. I never knew about this character, and I really like her. I really
Wait.
do.
Never
Wait.
again will that happen.
I have no idea what that was. Was that the dance for
She's being
her?
Mercedes Monet. This
Oh,
match was
okay.
really good.
I like the Tony Storm better, to be honest.
Willow is fantastic, and I
Willow is
think
great.
Yes, I
Sasha
like her a
Banks
lot.
already knows how to work with her, and I think it plays really well. They played well off each other. I think there was some nice, fun spots. This was not the less of the lame-o WWE version of Sasha Banks and more of the New Japan version of Sasha
Yeah.
Banks.
I just
And
feel that I was let down because their other match was better.
I think the storyline and the story told in ring was not very
Yeah.
good. I think the actual match was good.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this though. Here's my thing. I don't know the Willow character. When Sasha Banks came out, she did the whole thing about the generation of women, you know what I mean, on her intro. And then I saw Willow and she didn't have that. But then Willow, the whole nice thing that they were pushing off with her, and then her friends turning on her. I have no
That's
idea what the
Bailey. Willow's Bailey, essentially, in this situation.
right.
Original Bailey.
Okay, but let me say this. This whole scenario with Willow and all these characters, I have not seen any of this. This is literally my first match of this girl ever in my lifetime. I never do. So my point to the thing is I'm surprised that AEW was able to pull it off and actually make me feel bad for her when I didn't even know these characters before.
Yeah.
And that's my whole situation. Is like this is the reason why I'm glad. This is the match I was going to talk about.
And I'm also tired of the fake chants. Stop pumping in CEO when her match plays, when her music plays.
But that's my point.
The brainwash.
But that's my point with the Willow thing. I haven't been to AEW in so long, and I didn't know this character. They were able to pull the heartstrings from me in that situation when I knew nothing.
Yeah, but
about
it's
this
also
character.
Willow is very charismatic. She is like a very great personality.
Yeah.
She has a great character, so it gets over easier. It can get over easier. You know what I mean?
Quickly, like I am a fan.
Like
this
eggs.
one match made me a fan of her so much and everything. And again, this match and including who I don't know who did I talk about earlier that I said, Storm. It's funny
Storm.
how the females are the ones that are going to make me come back to AEW because it's just stories. They have better. I won't say, oh, it's because they're hot. No, I'm talking about they actually have better stories in my eyes right now, based on just me seeing these.
Well, in
two
terms
matches.
of WWE booking,
better stories is questionable. Better characters
I'll say
better
characters.
matches.
Yeah, I'll say characters. Yeah, characters and matches. But yeah, that's my point.
Like, I mean, this match was way better than what we reviewed yesterday in terms of any of the women's matches.
Every women's match on this pay-per-view was better than yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, the ones that WWE totally way better. Yeah, I agree.
But Monet does win.
And we knew it was going to happen, so it's not a big deal. We've been calling this literal outcome that Willow would take the belt, that Willow was going to beat Julia Hart so that she could lose it to Monet.
Yeah. Which is funny though, but they did good. They did good all with that whole story. She loses the belt. Her friends turn on her. Like
But that's the thing. That's the big story coming out of the ring. But this is what I don't like about that. Statlander pushes Stokely Hathaway, and then she turns on Willow as they're walking out, and Hathaway's laughing. I don't like that.
I think you want to hear my thought. You ready for this? You're not going to like it, I don't think. I think that was a double swerve. It was planted as a fan reaction. They pushed Stokely and the fan reaction wasn't good, so they reverted to the other plan. They're like, if I push Stokely and the whole crowd is behind it, we're gonna go this direction.
Yeah,
and then Stokely will build a team to fight against those two or something, right? But the fans didn't like that. They wanted like a bigger pop, so like, okay, do the turn on her, and they did it, and the crowd popped for it.
Okay,
that makes sense.
That sounds kind of crazy. Like, but I
don't know how they would communicate that fast.
I think they just listened to it. They were like, if you do it and the crowd doesn't pop, they're like, do the other thing.
Like Campbell's probably right. They probably in the back before this all started, they're like, we want to make Willow look really good as far as like being the very baby face, because she's a baby face, but like we
Yeah.
really want that to pop with her because it's the same situation when they did the whole thing with him and her pushing her. I'm like, what's this going on? And then all of a sudden, when she turned on her and did the clothesline, that's when my heart went, oh, what the hell? She's a sweet girl. Why would you do that to her? You're like her best friend. And that's why I think I agree with Campo. I think they tried to pull that whole thing off and they had that as a backup plan in case the
And
fans didn't
on
like it.
Dynamite, for anyone who doesn't know, she also turns on Orange Cassidy.
Yes.
So anyway.
So with that, we are going into our co-main event of the night: Swerve Strickland against Christian Cage for the AEW World Championship. Again, another gimmick. Let these two wrestle. I'm tired of gimmicks.
Okay, so here's my thing. Swerve Strickland was actually just coming into AEW when I left.
He is the
Literally.
hottest character in wrestling right now.
Yeah. So my situation with Swerve Strickland is that I had no idea about him, and then I got Tonight Show. Basically, he wrestled I think one time when I first when I was right before I left AEW, and then now I guess he blew up this whole time. And I will say, the Swerve's house things, I know they're doing the whole Run's house thing, whose house, that kind of thing. That's what they're doing with Swerve, but it really works with his character. Like I noticed, I love how the hype man is on the outside, like whose house? Swerve's house. Everyone
But
just goes
that's what a
crazy.
fucking manager valet
Yeah,
should do.
that's what a hype.
Agree.
Yeah,
Agree.
They
And
shouldn't
that's
just
why I love it
exist
so much.
outside the ring.
yeah.
But what made it, like, I will say that whole the gimmick with all the other three people and then kicking him out first, I was like, that was a little bit confusing. I was like, that's not how.
It's to build heat against Christian.
No, I got that, and I totally got that. It's just it didn't work as much heat as I wanted to. I was just like, shouldn't that happen to those three already before the other guy was kicked out? Like I didn't feel mad at the referee. I just felt
No.
mad that this didn't even existed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like that's one thing. Like Swerve Strickland, I see why he's a good wrestler. I see
Because
the
Swerve
charisma.
Strickland could have come out with his crew too, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Well, they're
So
not his crew anymore.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
so my seeing this for the first time, knowing Christian's past, only seeing Swerve Strickland for the first time as far as like this big pop of a character, I really enjoyed him. The match itself, I don't know, it was a little bit weird. Like for example, you know how we talked about the breakaway thing in AEW? I mean, AEW, but in WWE, we literally had the same scenario, but it just didn't break away in that corner over there. You know what I mean? And tell me I'm wrong. That literally is the same corner that they always use, just like in WWE, but it's not a breakaway wall. It was just a
Yeah.
whole that took up.
It's the same spot, but I'm like I said,
Yeah.
we've already had too much gimmick. We just had a gimmick 2 matches ago with Copeland and thing, and now another gimmick match with it wasn't billed as a gimmick match, but it's another gimmick match. You know what I
It
mean?
felt like it.
And there's blood in this one too, right?
But this
I
match
believe.
was solid. This was a solid
It
match, and I
was.
think Christian is so good. It's so crazy how good fucking Christian is. Like it's unbelievable. He can carry an entire feud on his own.
Yep.
I'm excited to see where it goes from here. My thought process is, and I've been saying this, is that coming up soon, Christian's going to lose another match, and his team is going to turn on him.
They're gonna kick him out.
Yeah, they're going to kick him out, and someone else is going to end up being like the father
It's probably
figure.
going to be Brood. Well, it might be Brood then.
No, I think Christian has nowhere left to turn, and he's gonna turn back to Edge and Gangrel.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But now they probably have to postpone that storyline a bit.
Yeah. At least 4 months.
Yeah.
But Swerve Strickland does retain, which leads to the point, Campo, you were talking earlier at the beginning of the show. We already have our match for Forbidden Door. It's Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland.
And it's so bullshit because he just won the international title. So what is he going to do? Double title?
And it's only for the AEW World Championship. So,
which I like that. But he's
So-
going to lose. Swerve is going to beat him. There's
Yeah.
no
So
way
wait a
you're
second.
putting over Will Ospreay.
So wait a second. Does this mean that basically this is just another Logan Paul Cody Rhodes match where it's like one belt goes up, the other guy just gets to keep his second
No,
belt, but he can
but
also
that's
does.
WWE doesn't really do things like that where they're like, oh, well, we're just going to wrestle for the SmackDown titles, even though we have both belts.
Yeah.
This is like, they always do this, like where it's not both belts on the line, it's for this belt. But it to me, if your point was to build up Will Ospreay, and you have him lose, you spent all this time building up to have him lose, and then what, are you going to push him out of the storyline now? Because he already has a belt. So does he go into an international storyline, or does he continue to do this belt and then have both belts? And
yeah.
and if
It
he
doesn't
wins now, you kill all of Swerve's momentum.
And you devalue your international belt.
Yeah. So I don't know what you do.
It's terrible booking. This may change, I think, going into Forbidden
In
Door.
my opinion, like realistically, I would have went a couple of ways here. Okay. Let me give you some options. I would have had maybe Shota win, and then had Shota, you have to face Shota at Forbidden Door. Kind of makes sense,
For the
right?
International Championship.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about in that. So they had a battle royal.
Mm.
That's what Will Ospreay wins on Dynamite to get the chance
Yeah.
for the title. Shota Umino was in it, and it was a really amazing
Yeah.
match for anyone who didn't watch. Shota could have won, and then you could have had Shota versus
Swerve.
Swerve at Forbidden Door. Okay, but you didn't do that. You also could have had like Penta win and had or Pac, sorry, and had Pac versus Swerve at Forbidden Door. Or you could have had Jay White win because he's a great heel and it would have worked perfectly, and you could have had a 2-match feud out of this. But instead, you went to a guy who already has a belt, and it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. What I'm thinking, going back to what you were saying now, what could have worked was Shota win, but the last person he eliminates is Will Ospreay. So this way you can have Shota lose to Swerve and then go into a feud with
Will Ospreay. Oh my gosh, smart. You could have had Sin Cara win. You could have had fucking Leo Rush win and had a one-off match with Leo Rush versus Swerve. Are you kidding me? I would love that match.
Amazing.
Anyways,
because Leo Rush versus Mustafa Ali was great.
Leo Rush is a banger.
Yeah. But Swerve Strickland retains, so we go into the main event of the night. Again, they did the weird, gonna introduce some of the heels, gonna introduce some of the faces, gonna introduce some of the heels. Like they did this at Marigold and they did this at AEW tonight too, because Darby was the last guy introduced. So they introduced like Brian and FTR. Then they introduce the Elite, and then they introduce Darby Allin. I didn't like that. That didn't make any sense to me. Did they do it because they were trying to build you up that Darby may not show up?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's like
this was discombobulated. This was complete.
I actually, okay, for as far as plunder matches go and
Yeah.
Anarchy in the arenas, we were talking about this. I think this is maybe the best Anarchy in the arena.
It was one of the better ones.
The
yes.
story that was told and the willingness to experiment with new types of spots that we've never seen, I enjoyed. I think you had a bunch of quality wrestlers, and it showed. Right. The one thing I didn't like is that for a lot of the match, Bryan Danielson is just not there.
Yeah.
What I did love was the entire comedy spot about changing the song.
Yes.
Play the real fucking best intro of all time.
So, but the thing is too, Darby Allin comes out when they weren't expecting Darby Allin, and he's already started in the match. Then they play his theme music.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, all I kept saying to my buddy Jeremy for all the night, rest of the night Sunday, all day Monday, all day Tuesday, I would see him around and I'd be like, did you know that they set a guy on fire at a wrestling match?
Yeah. Again, a second attempted murder.
They legitimately set him on fire. He was on fire.
Yeah.
That was insane.
There were 3 attempts of murder. There was the poking of the thing and the thing. There is the fire, and then there's someone tried to drown some other guy in the water.
And there was a hit him with a car. With a bus.
There were 3 attempted murders in one match.
And then they hung him upside down and kicked him in the face with
thumbtacks.
Okay,
but
so
I think there was fun. This match was fun, and having him lose to a Busaiku knee, is like.
But for example, when what's his name was going to do the Rainmaker, he put the tacks on the arm on the sock thing, and I'm like, cool, we're going to see this. He does it one time and then takes it off. I'm like,
yeah, but that's what it was. It was a one-time.
It was a one-time thing,
right?
But I get it. But I'm saying,
the fact that you got Okada in this kind of match is already mental to me.
Yeah, because Okada would never do a match like this.
I was not expecting that.
He was the only guy that didn't show color, though.
That's true. I mean, who knows? I feel like we're gonna get blood and guts for sure, and the Elite are gonna be one of the teams in blood and guts.
But
it'll probably be the Elite versus
the
BCC.
fire spot. I knew the fire spot was coming when I saw was it Matt Jackson kind of leaning
by the fire extinguisher.
Then I saw Darby come out with the flamethrower, and I'm like,
Yeah, and then
okay,
also Jack Perry was awkwardly soaked in like petroleum jelly when he was
Yes.
walking around. But the one thing that really freaked me out about that, like I know they did a good job with it.
yeah,
It was when he was already on fire and Darby Allin kept chasing him with the flamethrower, but also fucking Bryan Danielson, I think it was sitting on the floor right there. And
he
he's
could
like,
have, yeah,
fucking, he's still going with them. They're like, what the fuck is this idiot doing? Like, Darby Allin wasn't supposed to chase him, I'm pretty sure,
no,
with a flamethrower on. Like,
but
but that
yeah,
was
but I mean,
cool.
and if this was the only plunder match on the card, because we knew this was going to be a plunder match, the other matches were unnecessary
Fun
plunder.
factor, this was a 10 out of 5.
Yeah,
Realistically, as a match, it was okay.
it was a
Well,
6.
well, if you guys remember,
Out
I
of
think
5.
actually the last AEW review we did together was Double or Nothing, wasn't it? I think it was the last Double or Nothing. I
Timmy's
can't
on
remember.
that right now.
It
Yeah,
might
so
have
Timmy,
been.
look, I don't know if it was that or
It
if it
might have
was
been last year's
Forbidden Door.
Double or Nothing. Because you did one
No,
AEW with us last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you did one. Payback, SummerSlam, Money in the Bank,
Money in the Bank.
Night of Champions. You did a lot of WWE.
He did
yeah,
last year,
no,
he
it's
did a bunch.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it's
the last
AEW.
you did not do any AEW with us last year.
I
No,
know,
you know
I
what?
know.
He watched one and then he
Yeah,
didn't come to do the
the review.
the review. It
Oh
was
yeah, I
Double or
remember.
Nothing. It was Double
Yep,
or Nothing.
Yeah,
yep. And I was yeah, because like, well, I wanted to be in that. Yeah, so
Because
I remember
Caps did it
watching.
too. Remember, Caps
yeah,
said he was going to watch it, and then he never
and
showed
he
up to
never
do
did
that
either.
either. And then he decided he quit watching wrestling after Double or Nothing.
Yes,
Well, my point to the thing
and
is,
he gave
see,
WrestleMania 5.
Yeah.
but seeing the anarchy in the arena because they did it the last time that I saw Double or Nothing, and I
Well, that's the
enjoyed
gimmick
it.
for Double or Nothing, right?
Yeah, no, I get it, and I mean it worked perfectly and everything. Especially with the was it always in Vegas? I can't remember
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
This is
but
this is something I didn't know. I think we talked about this already. Putty wasn't there though, so he can hear it. I've always thought that, well, now you would say All In is like their
flagship
big
show.
WrestleMania thing, right? Because they got the rights back to it. But back in the days, everyone kept telling me All Out was their big show or Revolution, but their WrestleMania is Double or Nothing.
Yeah,
it
because
feels
that
like
was
yeah,
their first pay-per-view.
Yeah, well, All In, but that was pre AEW. It
Yeah,
wasn't even AEW when they
it
did
was an
All In. It was just
ROH
called
card.
All In. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
well,
technically sponsored by ROH.
but see that's the thing, knowing that we were gonna
Fun fact: we had Rey Mysterio tag team with Stephen Amell in that match.
Yeah, that was that's actually a really good pay-per-view. It's just a shame that they took it down off YouTube.
Yeah,
but Anarchy in the Arena, I kind of expected that, and I feel like the whole Adam Copeland match should never existed because of having this come in there. I agree with you, JD. I feel like there's just way too much force in the blood. Like they're all what it feels like happening is that WWE is like we're the family friendly one that you can come and your family can watch. You have The Rock, you know you love him. He's a super big superstar. AEW is like screw you, middle finger. I'm gonna make this as hardcore as I can to the point now it's like. Now you're just going a little too
AEW
hardcore,
is
and
a
I don't believe
wrestling
it.
show booked by wrestlers for wrestlers for wrestling fans. That's how I see it. WWE is a purely a sports entertainment company,
yeah.
right? And I get it.
But I feel now AEW is going in the direction that whatever WWE does, we're going to do the opposite. They're looking
Exactly.
too much to be they're starting to look too much like a GCW, an ICW.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I think they need to let go of the WWE thing. And it's weird because WWE right now is trying to be more like AEW, and AEW is trying to be opposite of what WWE is doing. So like, are they eventually going to go family friendly? Because like,
Yeah.
but it's like you're seeing it right now, and we've noticed it over the time of how much we've been watching. Where, um, like if you look in Japan, like New Japan has slowly been turning into like a WWE type product,
Mm-hmm.
where if you want to watch the AEW, you're watching Noah because that's where it's like wild and crazy, like everything's going all out. Because the matches are still good in New Japan, but
Yeah.
the storytelling is not.
Yeah.
It's not like how it was. The Tanahashi era is not good. It's not off to a good start.
It's just weird because again, being such a hardcore WWE fan, as we all know, that for people that watch any of the reviews done here, I'm always here for the WWE, or at least I try to whenever I can. I'm always watching them, even if I don't get to do the reviews with you guys. AEW, I have invested myself in, and I watched this and I enjoyed it. But it's like I didn't enjoy it for the grittiness. I enjoyed it for the matches that actually were about matches, and that's with Willow and that's with Storm. They were both matches that really kept me going. And it's like looking at that, I'm like, I feel like WWE needs to learn how to deal with their women matches, but at the same time, I'm looking at AEW and I go, dude, you need to kind of look at what they did with Gunther and everything, and look at their matches over there and see
Yeah.
why there's it's such a weird thing where like each one is trying to do exactly like you were saying, doing the opposite, and it's even based on the quality of matches. You know what I mean? It's like you're giving us bad quality with the male superstars, but good with the female. But then over on the WWE side, you're giving us good with the male and not the female. And it's like, I hope
The one
in
thing I
this.
missed that they didn't do on this pay-per-view that they've done on every other Double or Nothing is the Casino Battle Royal with the cards.
Oh yeah, they did not do that for the chip.
Yeah,
Hmm.
where MJF won it last year as the Devil, remember?
Yeah, and MJF had they showed it even when his little clip they showed the chip.
Yeah. And that was a gimmick I liked in Double or Nothing, and they didn't do that this year.
Well, we'll see what they do going forward. Anyways, I'm last in scoring.
Okay, Putty, you're going first then.
Oh, good Lord. So here's my thing. Um, because of the female matches, it gives my number's an 8, but I'm dropping down 7.5 because the length of it was what killed me. I enjoyed the female wrestlers. I enjoyed a few segments here. The anarchy and the arena was great, but it just at that point I was so exhausted that it felt a little too exhausting to me. I wanted to hang from the banisters just like Darby Allin and just lay there. Like that's how I felt. I'm just saying. But I'm saying 7.5.
Okay. I'm going a little higher. I'm giving it a 7.8. It was in ring work. It was good. I'm taking away points from too much gimmick. Uh, they did not add the Casino Battle Royal with the chip again this year. And yeah, it's too much gimmicks going on and a lot of things that don't go anywhere. So I gave it a 7.8. It's their weakest show of the year so far.
Okay, so I like I don't know what to talk about here because it was really good, but it was also had its issues. Length doesn't seem to be a problem for me right now, especially because I've been watching a lot of Super Juniors. So if anyone knows what the task of
Oh yeah.
trying to watch weekly wrestling as well as watching a tournament in Japan, you just
Yes.
become like numb to
Desensitized.
like how long things are. And like personally, I the length didn't bother me.
No, the
I
length didn't bother
actually
me either.
I'm getting to the point now where surprisingly, probably very begrudgingly to Putty's thought process, is that I look at the cards sometimes and I want more matches. I'm like, why isn't there more? Um, that's what bothers me the most about WWE. I want 7 matches at
Yeah.
least. Give me
5 is not
7.
enough.
So I'll take 6,
No,
but I want 7. Um,
see, I want balance in between. I feel like AEW had too many, WWE had too little. I want somewhere in the middle. That's how I feel.
I think six between 6 and 8 matches in a WWE card would be perfect.
yeah,
Mhm.
6 or 7 I think is ideal because they're always gonna have one really short match in a WWE card.
Which also
Um,
reminds me, I do want to ask you guys later about something on the side at the end
yeah,
of
you
the
can
thing
ask
as
me
far as
later about something on the side. Because what did you score it, JD?
I gave it a 7.8.
I'm at a 7.6.
Okay.
I thought it was good, but there was too many plunder matches. I think a lot of the storylines felt weird. Um, yeah, like
Fair
all the
enough.
matches were good, right? I would give them all above average scores, but I just feel like nothing here was like super like 5-star
Yeah,
banger.
not like Dynasty where we gave it super high scores.
Yeah.
But that's it then. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Tune in next week. We don't know what we have yet, but we may have just a surprise for you. So tune in next week. And with that out of the way, Thanks again for joining us. And in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.
And bring in La Catalina.